Okay, we're still working on question number 5. And so we rolled out A because this is an obtuse angle. Because if this would be a right angle. And you know from here to here is 90 degrees. Well, it's bigger than 90 degrees. And same thing with here. This would be bigger than 90 degrees. Okay, so then that means W and Y are complementary, which means they're the same, they're under 180 degrees. Possibly. X is a right angle. Well, do we have any right angles in a rhombus? I'm sorry. Do we have any X angles in a rhombus? I don't see any, so it can't possibly be. And YX is parallel to XY. These aren't parallel. In fact, they look like that. Remember, parallel go like this. So X, Y, X, and XY. They are not parallel. They're not even perpendicular. Well, they are in a sense. They're just not at the right angle to be perpendicular. So your answer is B. Okay. Oh, question number 6. Look at the figure below. Which statement about this figure is true? Oh, before I even look at it, this one looks like this. Okay, that looks like a trapezoid there. This figure can be named as a parallelogram and a quadrilateral. Well, it has 4 sides. So I agree with the quadrilateral. I also agree with the parallelogram because this is parallel to this and this is parallel to this. And we know that in a parallelogram, you have to have both sides. This figure can be named as a parallelogram, we already agreed, and a rhombus. To me, remember, the rhombus looks like this. So this is not a rhombus. So this can't possibly be true. This figure can be named as a parallelogram, yep, and a square. Well, what do we know about squares? Squares have to have right angles. And they're all the same thing. This doesn't match this. There's no right angles. So it's not a square. And this figure can only be named as a parallelogram. No, because it has 4 sides. So I would say my answer is A, because it is a quadrilateral, it has 4 sides, and it is a parallelogram. So your answer is A. Okay, Jeremy is working on a report in which he will compare and contrast the different types of quadrilaterals. Which statement should not be in his report? Okay, all rhombuses are squares. Think about your hierarchy here. You got your triangles over here, which we're not worried about. You got your other ones. You got your more than 4 sides. Okay, we're not worried about those. And now you got your quadrilaterals, right? That's the first heading. They start off as quadrilaterals, right? And then they branch down even more. And you got your rhombus, you got your kite, and you got your trapezoid, right? And then over here you got your parallelograms. And under parallelograms you have a square and a rectangle, right? So looking at that, looking at my hierarchy, all rhombuses are also squares. Well, rhombus don't even fall under the same category. So that can't possibly be. So it's not A. All squares are parallelograms. Well, they are, but that might not be all of it. All squares and rectangles have opposite sides that are congruent. And all parallelograms, rectangles and squares, have opposite sides that are congruent. Okay? So now we're looking at, Ms. Hine did the same thing you would all do. It says should not be in his report. Well, we already said squares and rectangles or have opposite sides that are congruent, which means equal. And this is true too, because parallelograms are the same thing. So because we cross this one out, in fact, the answer is actually this one because it's not. The key word here is not. So Miss High made a boo-boo too. I pulled one of you guys. Okay. Question number 8. Which triangle is an isosceles triangle? Oh, remember when we talked about our triangle? We have equilateral, right? Meaning all sides are equal. We have an isosceles triangle where none of the sides are equal. This is an isosceles. Remember, equal has it in it. And remember the trick for isosceles, it's isosceles. And you go around 3 times. Isosceles. 3 times. So 3 different sides. That means, and 3 different angles. 3 different size angles even. Okay? So looking at an isosceles triangle, well, this is an equilateral. All sides are equal. Right? And then we look down here. This one looks like this one. But what's the difference with this one? It's, even though it's 1, 2, 3, they all look to, this one looks to have the same angle as this one. And this one is bigger. So this has 2 angles that are the same. This one has 2 sides and a bottom. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I'm losing my mind. It's why it's only 7 o'clock in the morning here. This isn't an isosceles. Why didn't someone send me something? What is this? Not an isosceles, but a scalene. And in fact, an isosceles, 2 sides are the same, 1 side is different. So we knew that was an equilateral, but that's why that threw me off, because they're both the same in a sense. They both have different things. So your answer is D. That is an isosceles triangle. Okay, sorry, I'm tired. Which triangle is a quadrilateral? Oh, equal. Which one have all 3 sides that are same? You can do this. Which one has all 3 sides that are the same? Right here. This one is an isosceles. This one looks to be an equilateral because it's 3, 3, 3. Here's another isosceles. And all different sides, meaning it is a scalene. So my answer is B. Okay, looking at question number 10. Which statement is true about an equilateral triangle? A triangle has 1 right angle. Do you see any right angles here? Okay. A triangle has 1 angle that is greater than a right angle. Do any of these, remember what did we say about this? How many degrees are in a triangle? 180, right? Or 180 degrees. Well, if I'm taking 180 and I'm splitting it 3 ways because it's 3 equal angles, each angle equals 60 degrees. So is an angle has 1 greater than a right angle? No, they're all less. Okay, triangle has 2 sides that are equal lengths, not for an equilateral. And the triangle has 3 sides with equal lengths. So your answer is D.